and welcome to Making Flower Essences. I'm your host, Isabel, and I'm a flower essence practitioner, storytelling artist, and singularity storytelling coach. I'm here to show you how you can make your own flower essences at home, or if you're wanting to purchase flower essences, what's the behind the scenes of how they are made, so you know what is actually that you are taking internally, and how to use this as a tool for your own emotional well-being. So if you're unfamiliar, flower essences are great little tools that you can take. Usually they're in a dropper bottle, and you would take 2 to 3 drops in a little cup of water like this, and you drink it throughout the day. Or if you're particularly in a heightened emotional state, you would take 1 to 2 drops. You could take it directly on the tongue, or you can just drink up that cup of water right away instead of sip it throughout the day. I recommend taking flower essences for at least 2 weeks regularly, so that you're aware of the emotion that comes up again and again that may be troublesome or harder to navigate through life with, so that after 2 weeks you can notice a shift. For most people, it happens that the shift with their own emotional awareness happens way before 2 weeks, but to really build up the habit of bringing mindfulness to the emotion is very important that you do it regularly as a practice. Like anything, whether it's weight loss or building muscle or getting into a healthy habit, it's going to take some time. So I want to show you how I make my Carnation flower essence. And I make my flower essences based on the 4 elements, so fire, earth, air, and water. And we also use astrology in my flower essences, so knowing your own astrology and knowing the actions that are associated with that is very good as well. And I also put a category of emotions under each element as well. So the Carnation is my favorite, is the actual fire element, and it's a little bit on the air side as well. It's a little bit more on the lighter red-pink side, but carnations are very well known. They have spread around. You always find them in a bouquet. And so with these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few of the petals from the carnation, and I have here a bowl of distilled clear water, just because usually you will use spring water, but I wanted to use distilled water to not bring any other energy to the water, to make it objective, to make it very cleansing and clear. Because some of my flower essences, based on my travels, I'll take some water from those spaces because they have a certain story with me. They have certain importance or sacredness for me, and that's why it's very important if you want to make your own, and I highly recommend you do. You bring in your own story and your own elements to the flower essence so that you can take it internally. It's almost as if you were creating a practical art piece that you can use in your day-to-day life that is very emotionally charged, because that is what most art is, in my own humble opinion anyway. So with that, I'll put all of the petals, and when you are taking apart the petals and you're placing them in the water, you want to be in a mindful state, not allowing, if you're feeling very emotionally charged or you're feeling very stressed, it may not be the right time to be making flower essence, or you can do a few mindfulness exercises. This is something that we do in the Singularity Circle and in Elemental Living, just doing some mindfulness exercises or journaling or doing the 20 questions, connecting with slightly future you, so that you can get into the right headspace when you're making these, because part of the process of making the flower essence is part of the healing of the flower essence itself. So now that I've put all of the flowers inside the flower essence bowl, filled with distilled water. You can kind of, I don't know if you can kind of see that there without me spilling. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these out in the sun. So I'll have my window here and I'll leave the window open and I'll let the sun hit the water so that it captures the vibrational essence of the flowers within the water. And then also if it happens to be a full moon or a new moon, I will put out the water that time as well. If it's not, you can also leave it out at night when you see the moon to make sure that you're capturing both the sun and the moon in your flower essence. If you're familiar with astrology, you know that your sun, your moon, and all the other planets are very important to your own personality, your own path in life, and it's very important to take account of the complexity that is involved with that experience. So we're going to leave the carnations in, and once the carnations are all set and infused with the water won't change color or anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the flowers, and sometimes I'll use a little porcelain or glass instrument to take them out and separate them. And I will put the water inside a glass, and I use my sake set. Just, I don't really drink alcohol much, but I do love the set that I get for making my flower essences, and I would recommend getting a separate set of bowls and glasses and porcelain to make your flower essences, that those are your sacred tools to make them as part of your practice. And so I would put these into my bigger bottle, and I would immediately pour a little bit in each glass, and I would take a sip from the flower essence. And this is going to be known as your mother essence, because when you're making your flower essences, your mother essence is the main one that you're going to take from when you're making remedies for other people. So when I'm gathering my mother essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also put 1/3 part alcohol or some other preservative inside the bottle. So you can do that by mixing it inside your main canister for that. And you can also keep it in a dropper bottle. I highly recommend getting a little dropper bottle where you can keep it and label it with the date, so you know that this is a mother essence. Because then what you do is when you're making a remedy for somebody, you're going to take a few drops, about 10 to 15 drops of that mother essence, and you put it in, let's say, a cup. If somebody is over and they're visiting, or you're doing a session with somebody, you're going to want to put a few drops in a cup and then put it with some alcohol as a preservative. So this is a second dilution of the mother essence, so that will keep for a long time. That could be used for up to 2 weeks and even longer, because alcohol is the preservative. If you want to take it directly though, you can take straight from the mother essence, and you can put in about 5 to 10 drops in a cup, and then put in some water, and you'll be able to drink that all up, and that's how you make and you take your flower essence. So carnation, for me, as a flower essence, and what is the benefit for it, is definitely sustainable action. So somebody that has been feeling stagnant for a while, somebody that is unsure of, maybe they're not feeling so clear on life path or goal, but they're still moving forward, but they're wanting a bit more of a clear and refined path. Carnation flower essence is something that I would use for those people. And I would use it for about 2 weeks, and keeping track daily of the emotion of, at first, what is it that you want to be clear about, because then you can keep track of it, right? Then you know, I'm feeling clear about this. If not, then you're like, well, I'm feeling clearer, but I'm not exactly sure. My mood is a bit better, because Carnation will definitely help with that and that clarifying. But using the Carnation flower essence as a tool to get that clarity regularly is going to be supportive. And after 2 weeks, knowing the actions one must take and things maybe that need to fall away to become clearer will become much easier to move through as you're going through your journey. So with that said, my name is Isabel. I'm your flower essence practitioner, teacher, and singularity storytelling artist. And if you have more questions around flower essences, or you would like to have a session where we go through your own different emotions and the layers that are in your story and creating some flower essences based on that experience, I am here to serve. You can head over to isabelrizzo.com, or you can go to patreon.com/isabelrizzobvp and become a supporter of this work and the art that comes from it, and get some flower essences.